Welcome back everyone. In this video, I talk with semi-pro footballer Reef Murfitt. Reef currently plays for the Central Coast Mariners NPL team, and he shares his insight on how he uses social media as a tool to get himself out there and be noticed. He also tells us what a typical day in the life of a semi-pro footballer looks like, and he goes into detail on what it's like to train with a professional senior team. So, lots of value in this one for you young guys coming up. Please excuse the audio, we had a few internet connection problems, but there is a ton of value in here for you young footballers, so I hope you enjoy the video. Let's dive into it. So welcome back everybody, thanks for joining us. Today I have the pleasure of being joined with Reef Murfitt from Central Coast Mariners. Reef, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you jumping on. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
So, Reef, I'll start off. I think is a good place to start off is just tell us a bit about yourself. So, name, age, position.
All right. So my name's Reef Murfitt. I'm a goalkeeper. I was born in Tasmania, in Australia. I've lived there all my life, and recently moved to the Central Coast to join Central Coast Mariners.
Awesome. Yeah. Fantastic. So, Reef, I guess maybe a good place to start would be just to hear about how football started for you. What's your earliest memory of football?
My earliest memory of football is just playing with my mates down at Windsor Park in Tasmania when I was 5 years old. We had like a school league that we used to play in, so it's just mini five-a-side games with no goalkeepers and stuff. So I used to have a bit of a run around on the field then. Yeah. And obviously the level wasn't too high because we were all young, but that's my earliest memory of football, just having a kick around with my mates, and then from there I just kept progressing up the ranks in Tasmania.
Yeah. When did you decide you were going to become a goalkeeper? Because it's pretty safe to say that most people don't want to be the goalkeeper, right? How did you end up there?
It's a tough position, that's for sure.
Yeah.
When I was 11, I decided to make the switch to goalkeeper, mainly because my older cousin was a goalkeeper and I wanted to be like him. And I saw him having fun diving around in mud and stuff, so I thought I'd give it a crack. And from there, I just fell in love with it. Love diving around the mud, love throwing myself at the ball and things like that. So it gives me a real thrill to save a good shot rather than see it go in, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good thing. Yeah. When did you realise that you were good in goal? Because me, I'm terrible. As soon as you put me between the sticks, I kind of flinch with the ball. About on pitch, I don't care. But as soon as I get between the posts, I'm just useless. When did you realise that you were good?
Probably about 14, after I came back from a few growing pain injuries. I realised that there's a possibility for me to take it further than being in Tasmania and push to a higher level. So from then on, I really started to put in the work, like the extra hours of training, and just try and craft my game as much as I possibly could, whether that was just going down to the park by myself, setting up some cones, going through them and diving and catching the ball and things like that. So yeah, I just tried to put in as much as I could outside of my club training, which was twice a week when I was about 14. Because I realised, like, I've seen the things like 10,000 hours to make it professional and stuff, and like it does take a lot of work, so you can't get there with natural talent, and I certainly had to put in the hard yards to get there.
Yeah. I think that goes for the majority of people, right? Everyone's got to put in that hard work. Obviously, there's a few people who are gifted with talent, but if you don't put in the hard work, talent really doesn't get you the full way.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So what was it at such a young age that made you realise that, there could be more to your football? You could take it a bit more seriously, and probably what made you focus enough to go out and put in that work? Was there anything in particular?
It was just the fact that I love the game, really, and I love putting in the hard work outside of training as well as in training. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I didn't have to force myself to do it. So it was a hobby for me to just go out and train by myself, or because I love seeing myself improve. Mm-hmm. So the more you train, obviously, the better you get, and then you just get a decent level of satisfaction on the weekend when you hit a ping to halfway and it goes straight to your player's feet every time. So. Yeah.
Amazing. Mate, I've played with so many goalkeepers who just were, they didn't have the ability to even make the halfway line.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Not ideal, no. Awesome. So what was your pathway? Because obviously you're now with Central Coast Mariners in the NPL squad, is that right?
Yeah, NPL 2 New South Wales, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What was your pathway to there? How did you get there?
There's an ex-professional footballer in Tasmania called Alex Sizak. He's played many games over in England professionally in Australia. He grew up in Tasmania until he was about 14 before he moved to England. So now he's retired. He's come back there and he got in contact with me saying, look, are you looking to go professional with goalkeeping? And I said yes. So then we just talked. I did a few training sessions with him down in Tasmania, and he realised my potential. So then from there, he basically got me a few trials, and I ended up signing at Central Coast Mariners.
Amazing. So he approached you. So he had obviously seen you playing somewhere, had he?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe seen all my posts. I do a lot of posts on Facebook and Instagram to get my name out there a bit and show people what I can do.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely something I want to touch on in a minute, actually, talk a bit more about that kind of stuff. But before we get to that, what level were you playing at in Tasmania before you made your move to Central Coast?
I was playing in a league called Northern Championship in Tasmania, as well as being involved in the National Premier League squad for Riverside Olympic.
Right.
We had quite a unique situation at my club where the keeper above me, he was very good, one of the best keepers in the state. So it was a constant good competition between us fighting for that spot. Mm-hmm. So he was a year older than me, which made it a bit more of an advantage for him, but there's no excuses. But it was a good, healthy competition. I feel like it made me grow and develop more as a goalkeeper quicker, because obviously if you're at a club and you don't have anyone to compete with, you're just going to be happy with how good you are. Like, you'll still put in the hard yards, but you don't have anyone to really push you. So yeah, I enjoyed that factor of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that competitive side you always push yourself harder. Even just for me recently doing my rehab, getting back onto the field and doing some running stuff. You think you're pushing yourself until they put you up against somebody else. It becomes a race or it becomes a challenge, and then you really do go up another gear, right? So having that competition is definitely important, I think. Yeah. So you were playing senior first team football already? Were you in before you made the move? Right. So that's quite young for a goalkeeper, right?
Yeah. My debut in the NPL Tasmania was when I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was good to get involved with the men's quite early on.
Yeah. How old were you when you started playing with men?
16.
Okay, so you started playing and you made your debut pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Pretty soon after, yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing. How did that feel at 16 years old, being signed up, called up, whatever you want to call it, to the senior squad?
It felt pretty good. I've been training with the NPL squad since I was 14. So I used to be at a club called Northern Rangers back in Tasmania. So when I was 14, I started training with the senior men's team, which was a great experience because I wanted to push myself as hard as I can. So men obviously kick it a lot harder than 14-year-olds. So I've constantly been testing myself against better players. So by the time I was 16 and I made my debut, I actually felt ready for it, because I've been training and being around that men's environment. So that really benefited me.
Yeah. And obviously your coach, for a coach to put in a young goalkeeper like that, it's not often that you see that. I guess it's more common that they would go with a more experienced player. Was there any words of advice or anything that they gave you?
Just be brave, be strong, try and command your area as much as possible, and just give it everything you've got, really. And they told our teammates to try and protect me as much as they could when coming out for crosses and things like that, try and shield other players from coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I just took it with both hands and gave it my best shot.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's working out for you very well. Yeah. So you mentioned it before, your social media, you like to put a lot of content out there. How important do you think that is in in I guess the modern game right now for players who are trying to find opportunities. Do you feel how much did that help you in where you are now?
I feel like it's very important in the modern game because a lot of stuff is obviously online now. So I had 2 Instagram accounts where one was solely focused on my training, what I did in the gym, and with my football stuff as well. I just post on that nearly every day, and people would just constantly be saying this guy's putting in the hard work, and people see that. Like, it's easy for coaches and stuff, like managers and agents, to realize, oh, this kid's putting in the work because he's got so many posts, just post after post after post of him training, whether it's by himself or with other players. And online you can post highlight reels and things like that. So I used to post monthly highlight reels just so everyone can see what I'm doing in my games. I'm not actually just mucking around. I'm really trying to push forward. So I feel like definitely putting stuff online can create opportunities for you, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think a good point what you made there as well is it wasn't just training environments, it was from your games as well. So, anyone can look good in training, right? But you got to be able to do it in a game as well.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And so would you use these tools apart from just posting your content? Would you ever try and network with anybody? Did you ever go down that avenue?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely helpful to be able to get in contact with other players. Like, I've had a few conversations with Joe Hart on Instagram, actually. I'm pretty surprised he got back to my messages, but he did. And he's just told me just to work hard. Just work hard. Just constantly be on that grind, and it'll take you places. And he's always been my favourite keeper growing up. So to be able to get in contact with someone like that, it's pretty amazing.
That is incredible, right? And former England #1.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, it's the wonder of the technology. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very good.
What if you don't mind me asking, what were the questions, or what was his advice for you?
I pretty much just said, what's your advice to make it to the pro level? And he's just said, work hard, make sure you're doing all the extras you possibly can, but also enjoy the game. Because if you don't enjoy the game, then it's not going to take you far. Because I'm not going to say it's easy to put in the hard yards, but if you don't enjoy it at the same time, then it's easy to lose passion and motivation. So you have to really find that balance.
Yeah, that's very true. So who do you look for or look to for your motivation and your inspiration?
Once again, Joe Hart, just the things that he's achieved in the Premier League with Manchester City. Just an amazing all-round goalkeeper, and he's really got that desire in him. Like, you can see every single game he just gave everything he had for the team. And yeah, that really inspires me, because if you don't do that, then it's easy for you to not be in the right moment to be able to make that save in the 90th minute and things like that. So you just really got to have that desire and willing mentality. And I think he had that bang on.
Yeah, good goalkeeper. Do you think he should be ahead of Lloris at Spurs?
I don't think so. I personally think he's nearly past his time. But he's still a very good goalkeeper, and I would suggest. Well, I'm not going to tell him what to do, but if he could quite easily get into a lower table or mid-table Premier League team and be the #1 keeper still. Like, he's getting on, but he's still a very good goalkeeper in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he brings in a lot of experience to the Spurs squad, right? I think they probably lacked a lot of youngsters, a lot of people that maybe haven't achieved the kind of things he's achieved. So I think his leadership probably in the squad is quite an important role that he's playing.
Definitely, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what your lifestyle is now. So your Central Coast Mariners in the NPL squad there. What's your training schedule like? What's your lifestyle like? Are you working? Are you studying? How does that work for you?
Yeah. So basically, with the Central Coast Mariners, we train in the morning. We start at 7 a.m. and we finish around 10:30 a.m. depending on if we have gym or not. So we'll train Monday through to Wednesday, have a Thursday as a recovery day, and then a match day -1 session on Friday. So that helps us prepare for the game. Other than training, I work at a warehouse. It's a phone warehouse called the Telecom Shop, and I work there from 12 until 4 every day. And then I also have 2 coaching jobs, one at Nick Montgomery's football grounds and one at the Josh Rose Academy on the coast. So I coach on a Monday, Tuesday and a Thursday afternoon, which is really good because it helps me give back to younger players, which I really appreciated when I was younger. If like an older player would teach me what to do and things like that and give me advice. So I find it very beneficial for them, but also for me because it's helping me, teach young players the game, but it's also reminding me what things that I need to do as well.
Yeah, they do say that, don't they? That it's I can't remember the exact quote, but it's you learn it, and then once you can then teach what you've learned, is then when you really understand the topic, when you can teach someone else.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so I think it's very important coaching, passing that information down and being able to think it through enough that you can then go and deliver it to somebody else for them to understand as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So with your schedule there, so you said your Fridays, your match day -1. What kind of sessions would you be doing on those days?
Match day -1 usually involves a lot of set piece work, just to make sure that we're really sharp on set pieces and we know what we're doing, where to hold the lines and things like that. Because set pieces are obviously not really intense like an RP 8 or 9 session, which we have a lot of. It's more like an RP 2 or 3, which is reasonably easy, but we just need to make sure we're sharp on set pieces. Because a lot of the players, a lot of the teams that we face up in NPL 2 New South Wales, they're all big boys. Like, it's a men's league and we're a youth team playing in the men's league. So we just need to make sure we're really switched on and things like that, because obviously they're going to be sharp and a lot stronger than us. So.
And would you change your set piece structure based on the team that you're going to be playing that week, or are you pretty much you've got your set routines, set strategies or whatever?
We usually do a match review on the match day -1 and see exactly what they do on set pieces and how they're playing, and then we can adjust our set pieces, defensive and attacking corners and things like that based off how they're playing. So, yeah.
Okay. And how do you then prepare for a game? What's your own, what things do you go through? Maybe let's take us the day before a game, leading all the way up to kickoff. What's your setup?
Well, obviously, the day before the game, we have the match day -1 session. And then, because I'm pretty busy with work, I usually have work. And then in the afternoon, I like to just chill out and watch some goalkeeping videos, like some England FA TV training of the old goalkeepers, and just relax a little bit, just because it's been a full-on week usually. Just, get your head right, mentally prepare, physically prepare for the next day, and then make sure you get plenty of good sleep in for the day after, for match day. And then from there, it's really just making sure you're physically, mentally prepared if you need to do any stretching or anything like that, or just making sure that your gloves are right, your boots are right, you got everything taped up and things like that before the game that you need to. And other than that, you just go out there on the pitch and give it your best shot.
And are you superstitious at all? Do you have any superstitions? Do you put one sock on before the other? Are you the last one out the dressing room?
I like to put the right glove on before my left. That's just one thing that I do, but other than that, not really.
Yeah. Nice. So you're obviously you're with the NPL side for Central Coast, but am I right in thinking you've been training? You've had a chance to train with the first team there as well?
Yeah, I've had plenty of chances to train with the first team. In between breaking my thumb, I was going well. I was training with the league most days, which was a great opportunity to work with some top keepers in Mark Giddy and Adam Pearce. And also the goalkeeping coach called Peter Zoyce. He's a great bloke, and he's got some good advice for us, that's for sure. So, I broke my thumb last November, and then just when I came to the Central Coast after signing, I got back into goalkeeping, was trained at A-League, and then 6 weeks ago from yesterday, I broke my thumb again, which was a bit unfortunate, but yeah.
But how's that recovery coming?
Yeah, it's going good. I got my thumb splint off yesterday, so I'm back into goalkeeping again next week, which is really good.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
hopefully sometime soon I'll be back training the first thing.
Yeah, hopefully. What have you been doing whilst you've been injured to keep yourself sharp, keep yourself fit?
I've actually been training with the NPL squad, the outfield players, because I've been joining in with their drills. It helps me keep sharp with my feet, which is really important for the modern day goalkeeper to be sharp with their feet and compose on the ball. So
yeah,
I'm doing a lot of that stuff, which has been really beneficial.
Yeah, which is ironically why they say Joe Hart got sold from Man City, right? Because that wasn't his strong point.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So keeping yourself sharp, keeping yourself involved down there, so you're feeling good, ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been doing a lot of gym work, a lot of agility stuff, and some running with the strength coaches. So feeling good.
Awesome, mate. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully you make a strong comeback.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a younger player who's looking to get to where you are? Because you're on that kind of, you're obviously playing semi-professional football, but you're at a professional club. So you're playing in a league which would be classed as semi-professional, but you're at a professional club, getting to train with professional footballers. What's the advice that you'd give to someone who's trying to get there?
I think something that really benefited me was waking up. Like majority of young kids have school, right? So I would wake up at 5 a.m. and get a session in, whether that be football or gym, get at least a 2-hour session in before school, and then obviously have your team training after school. So if you're a young player, I would give you some advice on saying that, can you go to your senior coach and ask, is it okay if I get some sessions in with the senior team? Even if you're only 14, 15, just show them what you've got and really work hard to get there. If they say no, it's all right. Don't get disheartened. But from an early age, if you can be training with men, that's a massive thing that will help you improve your game.
Yeah, and it'll make the coaches take notice, right? It's not often that you get young players coming up asking those questions.
Yeah, so exactly.
Just that alone will make people take notice, I think, as well. So in those early mornings when you're getting some sessions in, or along that whole period maybe, would you work with a coach in those sessions, or were you working on your own?
They were always solo sessions. So I would either go down to the local park and do some distribution, working both feet, side volleys and things like that, or I would be going to the gym and running through my program that my coach has given me, but he won't be there in the morning. And they were very good programs to help me become more athletic and a better goalkeeper overall. So
yeah. So you had a coach write your program up, and then you would go and implement it yourself in your time, is what you're saying, yeah? Yeah. Amazing, mate. What would you say is the biggest difference when you take that step up, going from training with the NPL squad and then going training with your first team squad?
I think it's just how hard everyone goes in training. Like, there's a real difference in, if someone makes a side tackle, you can't whinge, like you can't sook on the ground. You just got to get up, even if you are hurting a little bit. You just got to get on with it, and you just got to play your hardest constantly, and just have that real determination and grit your teeth, and just go as hard as you possibly can. Like, they will not take anything from you. If you dive or anything, they will not be having that. You'll get dropped if you do things like that. So you just have to be mentally and physically switched on and ready to go the whole time.
Yeah. So the intensity is the biggest standout thing for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant, mate. What's one thing that you could, bit of advice that you'd like to go back and tell your younger self, if you could?
Work on my mental game a lot more. I think mentally, like, that's a very important part of the game that I personally put off for a long time. Like, I never thought it was, I knew it was a big deal because being a goalkeeper, if you make a mistake, sometimes it's hard to bounce back. But yeah, I think I definitely tell myself to work on my mental side of it a lot more. But yeah, other than that, I think just work even harder. You can always work harder. You can always put in more hours. and that. So yeah.
What made you realise that the mental side of the game, because it is such an important side of the game, right? That dictates everything about us, the confidence we take into the games, how we're holding ourselves, how we feel about ourselves. What made you realise that that's so important?
More so just the injuries and the setbacks that you get, like especially playing at a higher level. You just have to be able to deal with that and never give up, sort of thing. So I was listening to a Cassius Michael podcast the other week where he said setbacks and injuries are not full stops in your journey; they're only commas. So obviously, in a sentence, a comma, you keep going after that. You don't stop. So injuries and setbacks are definitely a big thing that you have to be mentally prepared for, because a lot of players, every player has setbacks, but you just have to fight through it no matter how long it is and never give up. So,
what do you do now to work on your mindset?
Pretty much I just listen to podcasts from other goalkeepers of their journey and things like that, and what they went through and the advice that they give to us. And then I just try and implement that to my game. So if I'm ever struggling, I just look at the end goal, like the goalkeeper ahead of me or Mark Birgitti or whoever it may be, like what their situation is, like what team they're playing for, how nice it would be to play in that league or that team. And you just have to remind yourself of the good things like that constantly, and just think that you'll get there one day if you just keep putting in the hard yards.
Yeah, amazing. Such an important part of the game that I think a lot of players overlook.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, mate, I think that's a good place to hop off. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. I hope that your return from injury goes well and get back in between the sticks and back out training with your senior team again.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. Looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, thank you very much for jumping on.
No worries, thank you.
Before we go, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you if they want to follow you in your journey?
You can search me up on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is Reef_Murfitt. Or obviously you can just search my name up and it will come up. Or you can search me up on YouTube or Google and you'll find highlight reels and things like that. So if you are interested, I've got a few Instagram pages and you can see what I've been through and what my training schedule has been like for the last couple of years. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And we'll share your handle as well when we put this out for you. But definitely recommend that people go and check that out because, you got some great stuff. So can learn a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you very much. And hopefully catch up with you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks very much.
No worries, mate. Thank you.